Hi all. Today we will discuss about divisions of philosophy. In the last presentation we have seen the three major divisions such as axiology, metaphysics and epistemology. And today in this presentation I am going to detail about axiology and education. So first of all, let us see the meaning of axiology. So axiology is the study of values or the theory of values and the concept of valuation as well as valuables. So what are values? What are the components, types, classification, and how to value something, assigning the value to something. And on the basis of such a process of valuation, we designated something as valuable, something as more valuable, or some others are less valuable, and something else as not at all valuable. So axiology deals with all these things. So how we assign values, the process and the things which consider as valuable for human beings. So it's a detailed analysis, study of values. And the main focus of axiology is not to attain knowledge, but to enhance or to sustain, to maintain the quality of life. So that's the focus. So values always stand for ensuring quality of human life. And these values can be of two major divisions or two parts or two sections. I think divisions will be the better term to designate those values. So ethics and aesthetics, these are the two major sections for values. Ethics, as you know, deals with the moral and personal values, which help us to analyze the process of valuation and to assign something as more valuable or something is better. So that kind of judgment that we will reach with the help of ethics. And aesthetics is the assessment of beauty, enjoyment, or taste. So these are the two major divisions of values in general. And axiology study in detail all the types of values, what is the nature and how we can assign, analyze values, etc., and how it influences human life, how to maintain or sustain a quality standard for human life. So what are values? Values are basic and fundamental beliefs. So values can be a set of beliefs that guide or motivate attitudes or actions. So that are values. Values are something basic and fundamental, about beliefs of our beliefs. So our beliefs can be rooted on many things. We believed so. The concept of God. Some people believe that there is God, and some other people never believe that the existence of God. So all these are fundamental beliefs. And for some people, economy, money, name or fame is the index of quality of life. And for some other people, simple living and higher thinking as the shows the index of a quality life. So that basic and fundamental beliefs or concepts which direct us to do something, or in all our actions, all our day-to-day activities, actions are based on our value set. We have a set of values, we have a set of beliefs, we have a set of concepts about everything in and around. On values can be stated as values are judged good because it's good for something. So values are considered as something related with good, desirable. So values also, when we talk about values, we are always talking in a positive manner. That's about a desirable behavior. So in an Indian context of classroom, we students, on seeing our teacher, we greet them, or we stood up from our place, our seat, when a teacher enter into a class. So we consider it as a desirable value. So when we go to some other countries or when other places, there is no such concepts as desirable, and or in some place it is not at all desirable, because their perception is that teacher and learner are equal. So there is no supremacy for teachers. So that desirable things, actions. So values can be judged good because it is good for something. Some use is there. And the ethics evaluate actions, thereby underlying values. And ethics, as we mentioned earlier, that evaluate all our actions and to decide whether our actions are ethical or not. Because all our actions are based on one or other values. For example, courage is a value. So courage, we will express courage to stand up in a group and to say our own viewpoint. That's a courage. Courage to stand against wrong, or courage to stand for right. So that's the courage. Not to fought a battle like that. In day-to-day life, how far we are courageous to take a firm position for right or against wrong. So all these things are based on our beliefs. So what are the types of values or classification of values? The highest form of values, which are called as absolute values or ultimate, immaterial, unchangeable, or everlasting. So people believe that there are certain values which are absolute or ultimate, means nothing beyond that. It is in the supreme position. As we said, superhuman or supernatural. So it will not be affected by anything. So that's the rank one among values: absolute or ultimate or immaterial, not related to any matter. There is no physical form. Truth, beauty, and goodness, all these are considered as absolute values. It has no physical form and all, but we believe that. And the final truth, so the concept of truth and fabricated truth, we know. So we know the difference between the two also. So there is something absolute or ultimate. And at the same time, there are material values or ever-changing values. Values which are undergoing change. Or it heavily bound to material. Say for example, when you are applying for a particular program or a particular course. So the first of all you need the details about how to apply for that, or nowadays to get access to the website of the institution. Then you have to get access to necessary application form, etc. for online, so that connectivity will be of greatest value at that time. And when you finished your application process, then naturally there will be no more value for that connectivity for the time being, and then the value will be for the rank list. And once the rank list is formed, then naturally the focus, the value will be for getting admission to your preferred institution or preferred program or course. And once you get admitted, then naturally there will be no value for that admission process. Now you require some access to classes, learning materials, especially in this online teaching learning process. You require some connectivity access to the material in different forms. And while completing all these things, you suppose completed a semester, then naturally there will be a semester end exam. So the registration for exam will be highly valuable. So you got registered, then you got register number, roll number shall be there. And when you went for writing the exam, if it is in a traditional format. So you require an answer sheet. So answer sheet will got highest value at that time because you have to fill in your details and all. And once you filled all these things, then you require a question paper. And after finish your writing by some 2-3 hours, a piece of twine that has got so much value. So such kind of value shifting from material to material that we are so familiar with in our daily life, because all these things are related to one or other material. So that is the first and foremost classification: immaterial and material values. Then there are intrinsic and extrinsic values. Intrinsic are inherent values within the materials itself. Certain materials has some values within it, so that material exhibits its value. That action exhibit its value. The honesty, kindness, etc. having some intrinsic value within it. And there are other values which are extrinsic, which is by doing something, we acquiring something, which is not within that action, but we gain some name or fame. So that's extrinsic. People are trying to establish them, to focus them, showcase them as I am such kind of a person. So that is extrinsic value. Then there are wide classification of values with reference to our daily life, such as personal values, values of an individual, social or cultural, values of the society or the culture followed by the society, or the religions followed in the society. Then moral values, emotional values. There are so many values we can say: economical values, historical value, all those different classifications of values you can see in different presentations. But for our purpose, we can limit the types of values here. It can be absolute or immaterial, then can be material, intrinsic, extrinsic, personal, social, cultural, religious, moral, etc. Then we are always talking about value conflict, value crisis, or value deterioration. The elder people always used to say that this is an era of value deterioration, because the young generations, they are not ready to express, exhibit, or in their own statement obey certain values. So the value conflict between different values such as honesty and loyalty. Say, honest person should not be loyal all the time, because if a superior shows some kind of corruption, a honest person will object it, but a loyal person never. So that's the difference. That's a value conflict. So approach of different individuals, or within an individual sometimes, that the extent of value expression, how far we are willing to express especially for the sake of friendship, we have to compromise with many of our values for sustaining our friendship or sustaining our relations. Sometimes we will fabricate something, or sometimes we will remain as silent. So there comes the importance of courage. Whether you are courageous enough to disregard all these personal connections and all, and stand firmly for right or against wrong. And there is the so-called generation gap, as people said. It is not actually a generation gap, but the change in beliefs. We already seen that values are beliefs, or values are concepts based on perceptions. So the young generation, the forthcoming generation, the young children, they are having their own perceptions and their own concepts, and they change. Their beliefs are changing when compared to the old or adult generation. So that we always try to term it as a generation gap. It is not a generation gap. They also have their own set of values. They acquire different values, but those values may be different from that of the older population. So do we miss something? That's another question. And different theorists or researchers in values, they say that the values such as honesty, kindness, compassion, respect, personal responsibility, etc., are believed as missing from societies. So that's a finding, that's a remarked by certain theorists, that certain essential values are seem missing from the societies, missing from human society. So let us think about that, whether there are such missing values or any values which are so inevitable in the society for the existence of the society, that we have to think about. So wearing mask properly, it's a value now. Whether we are following, especially when we are among a group of people, when we have to move from one place to another, in a time we have to cross other people, or we have to face some people, or in some kind of a place, or to travel along with some other persons, etc. So that is a kind of personal responsibility. So whether it is missing, so a lack of such personal responsibility from a few will adversely affect the entire society. That we can see in the rapid spread of this kind of the latest, the existing pandemic and all. So we need to think about what are the missing values in our life. So that's all about a brief discussion on axiology and values. You know that the axiology studies values. What are the essential values? What are the required values, desirable values? And these values gives rise to aims of education. So that's our point. So axiology, values, aims. So don't forget that. So that's all for this presentation. Thanks for watching. Thank you all.